folks. So today I'm going to be showing you a pattern that I bought off Amazon. It's for a quilt and it's really cool. You could do either throw size or queen size. I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. Now it's called Winter Solstice by Patty Carey of Patty's Patchwork. I've not gone to her website yet. I'm assuming that she does have one, but as I said, I bought this on Amazon. It says that it's an intermediate to advanced quilt, but you know, this is my second time using a quilt pattern, so it's certainly quite doable. I find that the thing that is most important is to just be super organized. So this is kind of ultimately what you're going to end up doing. You have all of these blocks that you create and then you sew them into 8 columns and then you sew them together. I kind of think of it like one of those math problems that you had in school where it just seemed overwhelming, and there's like 20 steps to get to the answer, but as long as you just do one step at a time, it's very manageable. But yeah, as I said, you need to really be super organized. And she very clearly goes through the different fabrics that you're going to need and cutting them. There's like 12 fabrics and then a backing binding. They're really good, excellent instructions. I had no problem following them at all. So when you do cut the pieces, most important thing is to have a bag per color. And that makes it so much easier. There's going to also be parts where there's going to be triangles leaning to one side or the other side. You have to mark those as well. So what I ended up doing is just grabbing a safety pin and putting a little piece of paper on there, and then whenever I made something like, let's say, one of these little trees, and it's marked with, you know, the different fabrics that you use, fabric 2 and fabric 6, so that I would just have a little tag here that's fabric 2, fabric 6. So when I get to the part of putting together the columns, it's very easy to find out what's what. So I think that was kind of the big key to doing this, is just be super organized. So even with that, I've messed up a bit. I've had to go back and recut some pieces because either I cut the wrong angle or, you know, God knows what I did with it. So right now I'm putting together, I think it's the 8th column. Yesterday I organized them all and today I'm going to sew them up. And I figured I'm probably going to be done sewing this all together, or at least sewing all the columns today. And I just wanted to make sure that I got this video in before I go right to the quilting part. So I'm just going to be doing just, you know, basic sewing thing. Unless there's something that really needs explaining, I'm probably not going to do that. So I'm just going to, you know, do my thing. And hopefully you're creating and doing your own thing as well. And if you want to show me a picture of what you're working on or tell me what you're working on, that would be really cool. And we'll just sit and do what we do together. And here we go. Normally I would be listening to some classical music right now. And I find that for quilting, Beethoven and Bach are really good because it's so mathematical. It's like those tessellations when you're a kid, right? You're playing, was it grade 4 that they do that? With those little shapes and you wiggle them around and all that. Rhombuses and stuff. I always loved that. Fitting all those little shapes together. Anyway, they look just like quilts. Yeah, so anyway, I find that Beethoven and Bach are really good for mathy kind of stuff. If you listen to jazz while you're quilting, you'll end up with a crazy quilt. by no means an expert, so if any of you guys are, and you see me doing something that is, you know, poor form in the sewing and quilting world, please feel free to let me know. I just pretty much just picked this up on my own, and so I could be full of bad habits. And I will not take offense at correction, as long as you're nice about it. All right, make sure all my trees are in the right direction. I love these little clippy things I got. And these here, they're good and strong too, although sometimes I kind of spring them away, but I really hate pins, and I'm really good at poking myself with them. But these guys are just brilliant. And then I put one over here as well, because these are in a column and I don't want them going wonky. Sorry, my hands are really shaking. Yep, that's fine. Okay. Actually, I'm going to do this one on top so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. So I always kind of go forward and back it up and then go forward again so I can cut the thread right up against the fabric and not have to fiddle for it around with knots and stuff. It says in the instructions that it's a, come on hands, work with me here, a 1/4 inch seam, so I'm aiming for just on the inside of the foot here where there's like a ridge. And then backing it up again. I find if I go off the edge when I back it up, then I just make a nice nasty little bump, which is not good. All right, all the trees are going in the right direction. Excellent. This quilt is going to be for my son. He wanted something reminiscent of MC Escher and also kind of foresty. So this is the perfect pattern for him. And it also gives me some practice in quilting. I made an applique quilt for myself and my husband, and I discovered, man oh man, do I not enjoy applique quilts. You know, it's particularly the circles. Trying to get those down without them looking like stop signs. Excuse me. Oh, it's not a good breathing day. Yeah, I'll switch this out. I've got a few colors going. I'm not sure yet how I'm going to do it when I sew them up. might just, as I go down, just kind of change the colors of the thread as I go, because I don't think any one thread is going to be super great unless I do like maybe a medium gray or something. Don't know. Have to see when I get there. Oh, this is a cool thing that maybe everybody except me knows. In the past, when I've had, you know, a big whole thing, put it on here, and then the thread ends up getting all wrapped around this post, and then it makes all sorts of mayhem and badness. But if I put this thing on like that, it kind of, this goes on the stick here thing, and it goes within the hole and seems to prevent that problem. So I don't remember anyone ever teaching me that, but maybe that's just kind of like sewing 101. I don't know how old this machine is. I think I got it like, I don't know, geez, maybe 15 years ago. It's just a little Kenmore from Sears. But I think those were made by Janome, which is fine. And it's nothing too fancy. It has the zigzag, and it has the buttonhole, and it has the straight, and then a bunch of other utility stitches that I don't think I will ever use. But it gets the job done. And without a lot of grief. It seems to hold its tension well, which is good. Believe it or not, I did clean up my table for you. And this is probably as clean as it's going to get. So if that bothers you, I'm sorry. It's not going to get better. But I hope it doesn't cause you as much discomfort as it seems to cause my husband, who is one of those can't work unless the desk is perfectly clear. I'm only like that when I have to do taxes. Oh, that was good timing. Oh, so close. All right, I'm gonna have to finish that. Oh, I should probably say something about the thread I'm using. For the most part, it's by Thread Out. It says polyester sewing thread, 600 meters, and I find it to be fairly smooth, like maybe not quite so much as like Gutermann, but it's got a really strong twist. It's not like, here's some kind of more cheapo thread. It's very fuzzy and not so tightly twisted. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that stuff. I originally came across them when I was looking for shiny polyester top stitching or embroidery thread, like for machine embroidery, and I was really happy with that, so I thought I'd give them a go on just their regular sewing thread. And then I also got some of their quilting thread, but I'm thinking when I quilt this guy, I'm thinking I'm going to use the shiny stuff. We'll see how that goes. It might be a bad idea, but we'll see. I tend to be rather self-taught, which really is just a nice way of saying I fiddle and fart around until I get something I like. So I possibly have some bad habits. So that's why I wouldn't call this an educational video, because I don't want to teach you guys bad habits. Boy, oh boy. DTs, too much coffee, or nervousness. Or maybe a little bit of all of both. You decide. Okie dokie. So, that's what we've got. Obviously, we'll trim up everything. Why is that moved over? Well, yeah, not happy with that. Don't know how I managed that one. I think I need a new seam ripper. It seems to be really dull. I don't know if I'm just getting the angle wrong. Sometimes it works great and sometimes it doesn't, and I'm sure that's got to be an issue with me. But if you guys have any advice on seam ripperage, please let me know. Yeah, see? Not doing anything. You know what? Time to break out the heavy duty specs. Come on, you little fucker. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna swear, just so you know. I apologize if that's a problem for you, but not enough to actually not swear. It's sort of my first language. But on the bright side, it takes a lot to get me angry, so probably won't be swearing too much. Although it is really fucking hot today. Yeah. Oh man. Kind of just trying different ways. I really don't want to shred up the fabric. I do tend to get impatient. I'm more impatient with humans than with inanimate objects, but there comes a point in the project where I'm just like, okay, let's just get her done. There we go. Alright, maybe that's the Cadbury secret. Have my finger under there. Do you hold it tight? Do you hold it loose? I have no fucking clue. I wonder if I could sharpen this with like a file or something. I think this is older than my kids. They're pretty old. I thought I'd start these because, you know, we're all kind of hunkered down, and You know, when I was telling you about the first quilt that I did, I was really excited to finish it and have like a quilting bee. You know, got the big frame out and everything. And then COVID hit. And so it's kind of just doing it by myself. And that was a bit of a disappointment. So I kind of missed like being crafty with other people. And I thought, well, maybe if I do this, then if somebody else misses being crafty with other people, they could just kind of put me on in the background, babbling around. That makes no sense. Babbling away. And, oh, shit. Then it would be like for them as if I'm there with them and we'll be craftying together, sort of. Good Lord. So that's the idea anyway. Obviously it's not for everybody, may not be for anybody. We'll see how it goes. When I was still living in Ontario, I was part of this really, really cool art studio tour thing. It was the first weekend of November, so if you're in the Greater Toronto area, do try and go if you can. It's called the Burlington Art in Action Studio Tour, and there were like maybe 10 studios or often homes, and each had like about 3 artists in it, and like tons of different things. There's at one point there's a blacksmith, there's silver and goldsmith, jewelers, ceramicists, potters, painters, textile artists. I was there as textile artist and jeweler. I'll probably post some pictures of some stuff that I've done, or you can see it on my website or whatever. But it was so much fun because you're there and you're with a couple other artists, and the thing that made it so cool is that, you know, the art and action part is everyone is doing what they love doing. So the painters have, you know, their easel up and they're painting away, and I used to bring my spinning wheel and do that because it's kind of a cool demonstration, because you don't see that very much outside of pioneer villages. And it was just so much fun, you know, and I really, like, honestly, I look forward to that so much every year. And now that I'm not living there anymore, and, you know, we're living in this strange hellhole of a time, I don't have a replacement for that yet. But I miss that feeling of being creative with other people being creative. And so that was also kind of an inspiration for this, that, you know, maybe we can in some way still be there for each other, still be creative with each other, you know, that kind of thing. So that was the idea. You know, I kind of hope it works. If it doesn't, I won't do it anymore. If it does, then hey, great. So yeah, so that's what we're doing. I think I have to set up, oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's why, because I wanted this to be in the center. Yes, that's the problem. You're not in the center. Okay, sorry. I need to find a way that I can still listen to music, because I have a difficult time being crafty without that. But I also, the free music that they have is, I looked up Bach and Beethoven, and it was like one song that a guy did, and I'm sure it's lovely, but I don't think anybody wants me to put a 4-minute song on loop for like hours. So I think we'll just have to leave it that if you guys want music on, you're gonna have to do it yourself. I'm actually changing anything. But I think it's more important that the centers line up, because I'm probably going to be cutting edges away anyway. I think what I'm going to have to do is find the narrowest block in all the columns and cut everything down to that, and hopefully I won't be trimming away too many nice points of trees. You know, I don't want things to be like that, but we'll see what we get. Okay. That's looking pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna roll this puppy up. Really long. Which is good, because my son's really tall. So this is the kind of trees, mountains, sky kind of thing. I go for hikes, and I mean, they call it a mountain, but it's really a glorified hill, and it tends to be misty, so you get, you know, the different trees, and then mist and mountain and sky, and it's interesting how there's like different levels of color. So I wanted to keep that in mind when I was choosing the colors for this, because the original pattern was just all sort of like monotone. It was like 12 colors, but they were all kind of grayish. And I wanted to do the trees kind of green. So like when I'm hiking, the trees at the front are more saturated, kind of lighter. And then everything kind of goes to gray the further back it gets. So that's kind of where I was going with the colors for that. Anyway, okay, so this was the 8th one. I already have my little thing on there saying 8. So that's good. Let's do some more. I kind of do them in reverse order just so that I don't have to do this any more than I need to. So, marked number 7 at the bottom of the front of the column. So if I forget what I'm doing, which is quite likely, I will have a reminder. Again, organization is the key for this guy. Actually, this is kind of light. Oh, this is a new toy I got. Look at that. Craziness. I don't know if I put it in the right spot. It might just be effective for blinding me at this point. But we'll see. The lighting in here isn't super great, so I've got the added odd light, and this light and another light over there. We'll see, I might even be able to sew after dark. I don't know what it is. As soon as I turned 40, my eyes just became indignant trying to focus. And they're like, no, fuck you. Apparently, I'm not the only one with that. I used to be able to like read in the dark and thread a needle at 10 paces and all that kind of stuff. Now, if I didn't have the automatic threader, I wouldn't be able to do anything. Man, I'm so happy with these. They feel kind of fiddly, but I think that's just because my hands are having seizures today. Hey. I had a lot of fun trying to find the colors that I wanted. So there's lots of patterns going on. Actually, this is the fabric I'm least happy with just because it's kind of boring, but it is what it is. It's fine. Kid will be happy. Normally I don't make a lot of stuff for family because I've been a professional textile and jeweler since 2007, and been selling my stuff in galleries and boutiques. Primarily this excellent art gallery that was up in Tobermory, Ontario. It's called Circle Arts. Unfortunately, they closed this year after like 50 years or something in business. I think they started in '69. So that was like sad and devastating. But I've also moved out of the area and had not really found a new place. And I do like a lot of different things. As you'll find out, this isn't going to be just a quilting channel. This is going to be whatever I feel like making today kind of channel. So I have a bunch of different kind of stuff, different styles of stuff. So the next places that I find are probably not going to all sell the same. Sorry, let me think about that again. All of my stuff will not be available at one place. That's what I'm trying to say. So, because they have like different vibes and stuff. So I need to find new galleries. But with the you know, fucking plague out there. That's not happening anytime soon. So I thought now is a good time to catch up on all these little projects that I've been waiting to do. Actually, that the quilt that I did before this one was from a kit I got in the 90s at some point. And I never got around to it because I was, you know, busy with babies and then just life. And then when you're selling stuff, it does kind of take over. At least I found with myself, where anything that I was doing, I felt it had to be saleable. It had to be marketable, or else I was wasting my time. Kind of had that, and that kind of takes the fun out of it, because you're not as creative as you'd like to be. You kind of just focus on the things that people want to buy, and you know, it's still fun, but sometimes, you know, you want to just kind of play around and that kind of thing. So anyway, this has been a good experience, because I made new stockings for all my family, and I made that quilt upstairs. And then this I bought, and this isn't something that's been sitting around. This is a new idea for me, and I thought, you know, the previous quilt was all appliqué, and I did everything by hand, appliqué by hand, quilted by hand, the whole thing. And that was more just so I could say that I have, so that from now on I can use a machine if I want to, but I can, you know, say, look, I have done it by hand, just not doing that again. And then this will be the first quilt that I've pieced where I've actually followed instructions and not just made it up as I go. The very first quilt that I did was for my my mother-in-law, and it is so ugly. It's really, really bad. It's kind of like a gradient kind of star sort of thing, and then on white, and like I sewed it with black thread, and I didn't iron each seam, and I mean it's just a big jumbly gross. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah. So anyway, you learn. I'm sure in 20 years I'll look at this and find all the mistakes and ways that I should have done it better. But that's life. It's fine. Hello. Not much point to a safety pin that doesn't open. Okay. Black tie. I hope where you are it's comfy. Today we have a heat advisory, which is really unusual because normally where I live it's about, I don't know, between 15 and 20 degrees Celsius. I still don't speak Fahrenheit. But it's going up to like 33 today, which is stupid hot. I've been acclimatized to not be able to handle that anymore. The good thing though is it's a dry heat. It's not like back in Ontario where 33 feels like 40 and you can't breathe because the air is solid. So it's better than that. But this is also on the sunny side of the house, so it's pretty toasty here. Okay, where am I? cars. Shoo. That wasn't great. This one is my favorite fabric. These batiks. Really like that. That's what I'm going to do for the binding, actually. Where is it? No, it's somewhere. I'll find it eventually. Okay, center of tree with center seam. Somebody's dog is excited out there. You can do it. I'm not looking forward to ironing all these seams of the blocks together with how hot it is today.
Maybe a different one for Auntie Natalie?
But that you need that as well too, like so you can use that one for the as well as other kids.
Yeah, I already have.
Like little ones or big ones?
I think one was just different.
Maybe 4 years.
Okay, it's like for maybe a little bit older.
Okay, it's up to you whichever you like. There are more of those to choose from. Probably the most recent pictures of them are going to pull off Instagram.
Good grief, oh, there's more involved. Come on, you can do it. That's looking right. How are you guys all doing with COVID and back to school and all that kind of stuff? Crazy times. It seems everybody's doing something a little differently. Alrighty. And that's number 7. You've probably noticed that I'm not all gregarious, loud, flamboyant, all that kind of stuff. It's maybe different from most YouTube videos, or at least ones that I see, that my daughter shows me, that are all in your face and sound effects and all that kind of stuff. I just want this to be just a quiet, hanging out in your craft room. We're just chilling together. going, kid. Right. Just make sure you're where you're supposed to be. Okie dokie. Number 6. And I'll put that at the very top. Yep, sometimes they get away from me.